tuned into the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. And now, here are your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Oh, what is going on, racers? Welcome to another edition of the Northwest Race Report. I'm your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges. And sitting in alongside me, I got two of the best. Mr. Glenn Lippy Tower. What's up, Lippy?
It's all good in the hood.
And he's still under the weather, but at least he's not under the loader. Mr. Jeff Eden, what's up, man?
I could have been sleeping under there. I'd been fine.
You would have been? Yeah. So
we're getting better. We are getting better.
Awesome. Well, you know, we got a good show for you tonight. We've got Phil Pfau going to be our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest. 60 years in the sport. That's pretty amazing.
He invented go-karting then.
Pretty much. I think people would be surprised at just what all he's had a part in. Especially his father, Bill. I mean, they came out. They did the first retreads, you know, where they put the slicks on it and retread it. I mean, he could tell you about the Voight basketball, like jigs that they bought that they used for recapping these tires. And it was all because, you know, his dad said, "Hey, you kids are going to cost me a fortune in tires." But they used to have a dyno out on Portland Road when because he was really big in with cycle country. Johnny Roner, it was Roner and Pfau. I mean, it's just a lot of good, cool history that he has. So we're going to touch a little bit about that. We can't get too deep because, you know, we only got a few minutes with him. But yeah, we're going to talk to him tonight. It'll be interesting to talk about 60 years. There's probably a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah,
you know. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Let's see. What else do we got going on? We got 10 things that you must do if you are going to be if you're going to try to climb the ladder in motorsports. I've got 10 things, and these are really good things that you need to be paying attention to. So make sure you got something to write notes on. This is some good stuff. Wow. Michael Lundeen in the house. I haven't seen Michael Lundeen in I don't know how long. Wow.
Who was P1?
P1 today was Brent Meyer pulling it down with Rusty King coming in second and Matt Strebe coming in third.
Wow, you're kidding.
Close Daniel Watkins and Lori Fuller and Scott Keeney, and we got a full house tonight.
Yes, we do. Well, I'll tell you, Brent Meyer needed a W, I think. It's been a little while since he's had one. He got spoiled in that thing of Michelson's, and then he got his 206. So he's kind of wanting to. Well, he got a win tonight. That's pretty good. Let's see, Lippy. What do you got? Part 2 in your segment.
I'm gonna do part 2, and I'm gonna kind of to recap part 1 because I got schooled over the last week on my clutch rebuilding skills. So we will be revisiting that as well as more on clutches.
Wow, right on. And the loader, you got part 2 on your
part 2 on the hidden dangers with the concussions.
Yes,
we're gonna do more into the treatment and the preventative parts of.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, we got some results from the Thrilla at Chowchilla.
Nice, I think.
Yeah, they had a one-day. Did you see it? I got it from Strebe. They had a one-day show down there. It was called the karting Nationals.
Oh, nice.
And so that's pretty cool. Hey, did you guys know that the 45th annual Boise Roadster show is going on this weekend?
We're well represented there, I hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Calling them take some carts over, I take it?
Yes, they did.
Wow, that's good. That's good stuff.
They're going to be there all what is it, 4 days or 3 days? Or
yeah,
whatever
it's the 10th through the 12th. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's at the Idaho Expo building.
That's a pretty neat show. I went over there one year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, there were some friends of mine that lived there in Boise, and they wanted me to come over. And it competes with Portland's.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm sure it does. That's awesome. Well, it's good to see that the UAS guys are getting out there. Because what, are they going to have probably a UAS cart? And
I believe Lawrence's new ride is going to be there.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
So they're going to be
Sweet.
there with that, and I think one of Lawrence's other carts, which is now going to be a 206, so they're going to have two
Okay.
representations there, and just talking to people and getting it out in front of them.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
really good stuff. All right, good news. That's great. But yeah, it was called the Sanders Motorsport Kart Nationals, and it was on the it was on the 4th, I believe, whatever the weekend was. But they had a pretty good show. But anyway, that's what's on tap for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Brian Williams in the house, Ronnie Sires in the house. We get to see the debut of our new segment we're going to be doing every week, brought to you in part by Product41.com. And it's called the Driving Tip of the Week. We'll give you a quick, 60-second, minute and a half little segment on little driving tips brought to you by Ronnie Sires, who many know as Product 41. However, he has been a driving coach / instructor / driver for going on 29 years. So, you get the taste of that tonight. We'll see how that goes. Let us know what you think of that. And everybody else having a good week? You guys doing good?
I got no complaints. I'm not. I'm running about 90% now instead of where I was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
Did I'm just curious. Did he get his pipe yet?
no, he hasn't got his pipe yet. It was. It's in getting bubbled out because it was a little bit rusty on the inside.
Yes.
So it's doing a caustic bath. I pick it up tomorrow.
Nice. And you just been flat sick.
Yeah, I never even got dressed all weekend.
Wow.
Went home Friday and, actually, I had to make a trip down south and take care of some things. And when I come home, I got in my sweats, and that's where I stayed till Monday morning.
Oof.
Wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
And then end up going to the doctor today to finally get things moving.
Yes. And also I forgot to say, on top of the, we'll do that. On top of the results, I got some of I was just going through, I just noticed that the Arizona Kart Club had their champions for 2016.
Oh.
So I snagged those, and a couple, they only had like 2 classes for the 2016 Idaho Speedway thing. So I snagged what I saw on the site. And but before we go any further, man, I don't know. I guess what I hope this will let everybody know is life is precious, is it not?
Yes, it is.
And there was we got one of the family members in need. His name is Ronnie Baker. He and his dad Gene have just gotten started. They were, they've been in the sport a little while. I mean, they're still pretty green, but they've been in it long enough. But they were starting to get their stuff, going. 206. They've got a PRD that they roll. They got, he just bought his dream home on Whimby Island. Just got joined up in a church. And Sunday he was out at PGP helping out, and man, had a massive stroke.
Wow.
So they had to take him into Harborview Medical Center and do brain surgery to relieve the pressure. So it's up in the air whether he's, they got him in a coma, induced coma, but, there's no, there's no guarantee he's going to make it, or, I don't know. But there's, if you look on our Facebook page, you can go, I should have wrote it down here. But you can go to, it's on our Northwest Race Report Facebook page, and you can, it's different than GoFundMe, and I should have wrote it down, but stop by there, hit our page, stop by there. There's a link on there, and leave them a note. That's what she really said. Money isn't, you're not obligated to do that. I mean, if you can see fit and can do it, please do. But if not, don't feel obligated to do that. But feel obligated to leave a little note, because they said, while he's in this coma, what they're going to do is they're going to round up all the notes and stuff that people leave there, and they're going to read them to him.
Nice.
So I thought that was really cool. So I went and dropped a note off last night, And so I encourage all of us racers to do the same. You just never know. I mean, right? I mean, that could have been one of us just as easily as him. You just never know. So, man, I don't know. It's kind of it's a tough deal, you know.
Life can be short, that's for sure. Ronnie was definitely liked by many, though. I saw several posts over the last few days from people that were either there or knew him, and it seems like he made a mark. So
yeah, it is, you know, and you know what it opened up to me. Not to get on a bad trip, but you know, we see the world. It's unfortunate we as people see the world as through the eyes of lack and envy, right? I mean, instead of looking at life through, you know, the eyes of abundance and being thankful. And this should be, man, you got your health, you got everything. And don't ever forget that. I mean, so, you know, try to make a point of just being thankful for what you got, you know? I mean, yeah, there's always going to be somebody bigger and badder and faster and better, but it doesn't matter. I mean, do what you can do, and that's all you can do. So
enjoy it. Yeah,
so the Northwest Race Report holding up Ronnie and Gene Baker and their entire family. Going to be a long road to hoe. So, but just know that you got a whole big family thinking about you guys. And we pray that everything you make a full and speedy recovery.
Yep, prayer chain and work.
Absolutely. So, Brent Meyer, P1. I'm just blown away.
Out of the woodwork.
I think that's his first win, I think.
No.
You think he's had one?
If we went back to when we were doing our
Summer Chat Series,
I believe he was in there a few times.
Yeah, we might have to start that again.
Summer's coming.
Yeah, we are. And one other thing I wanted to say. Thursday night, tomorrow, don't forget, at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, be sure you tune in on Facebook, because the In the Groove show is going to have, I had Anna Marie Strawhand,
it's going to be
Marketing at Full Speed. It is. It's over an hour of her and I mean, and you know, she gives up a lot of, I think, cool information. Some of it's basic. Some people say, you know, but if you really listen to it,
never hurts.
It's some good stuff. And so big props to Anna Marie at Marketing at Full Speed for hanging out and talking for, man, it was about an hour. And she had an appointment at 4. And she said, that's okay. I can tell him I'll be 15 minutes late or whatever. Oh, cool.
Well, I follow her on Twitter, and she usually every day you get something comes out on Twitter to it.
Nice.
For encouragement.
Yeah, you know, and here's what I'm saying. If you're a racer and you're trying to find some money or some help or whatever, and you don't pick up the phone for a free consultation with her, you are a fool, because it's free. So, you know, have at it, but, I mean, I'm just saying you are absolutely foolish if you don't take advantage of that.
Well, I think one of the young ladies that's from around the Grays Harbor area, Ariel Biggs, has used her, because I've seen her name back and forth on it.
Yeah.
And Ariel, the other night, she posted that she had a ride in a wingless sprint car for the night, went out and won it.
Oh.
So, you know.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And her stuff is pretty simple. It's pretty basic. You may say, but, you know, that's what's working. She's been closing some big deals if you look at some of the stuff she's gotten. So,
and I'm sure that she was helped her get part of she had a Toyota midget ride last year.
Yeah.
So that's, you know.
So check it out, marketingatfullspeed.com. Anna Marie is her name. She's a super, and you'll see on the show, I mean, she's just a bubbly, just bunch of enthusiasm. It's pretty cool. So
BLG in the house.
Oh, Esquinia in, or is that Ransom in?
Says Brian.
Oh, good. Okay. So, well, what do you say? Should you want to hear about the Thriller and Chowchilla?
Well, of course.
We're doing it.
Let's do it. Well, tonight's Winter Circle Wednesday, as always, just started, is brought to you by C High Performance. Those are 3 words, valuable words, that you need to have if you're a kart racer. So be sure you stop by C High Performance and check out the parts, service, and knowledge that they have. They'll take you to the front. All right, so the Thriller at Chowchilla. That's kind of sweet, isn't it? Actually, it was the barn burner at the barn at Chowchilla, but that just didn't have the ring. You know, I like the Thriller at the Chowchilla. I don't know. But anyway, Lippy, you'll be excited to hear this. 31 clones qualified.
Wow.
Yeah. Tim Cruz took the pole. Austin Van Hoff took the off pole. The heats went Tim Cruz, Logan Clay, Mitch Cornelius, and Caleb Shelton. They had 4 heats, 2 B mains. Let's see. There was 9 in one and 8 in the other. John Max, Anthony Silva, Trevor Loudon, Josh Strickland, and Kent Stevens took. That was your top 5 in one B main. The second B main. Boy, I can't. Did I do that again? Boy, can't read it. Kyle Labrie took the win. Colton Cook, is that Ford's son? I wonder.
Oh, could be.
Scott Pearson, John Murrieta, and Austin Van Hoff were in the second B main. The 500 to win feature went to Tim Cruz and Ashley Heiser. So here's my question, though. So I'm looking at this thing. 31 qualified. Ashley Heiser qualifies 29th, right? She's not in either one of the. I don't see any one of the B mains. How does she get in to run?
Wow, that'd be a good question or some research to do.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I just didn't.
Well, did she win a heat? Did she finish?
No, she didn't win any heat. Because Tim Cruz won. Yeah, Logan Clay, Mitch Cornelius, and Caleb Shelton, they all won the heats.
Prior winner.
Maybe. I don't know. I just didn't see that. It was just odd to me that that she made it in. Dan Kerber, same thing. He ended up 4th, but he qualified well down in there. So I'm not sure how that went, but it went to Tim Cruz, Ashley Heiser 2nd, Steve McCullough 3rd, Dan Kerber 4th, and Frankie Ludorf in the 5th spot.
Matt Strebe just chimed in and said top 3 in each heat went to the A main. So there you go. They might have been.
Yeah, she must have been in that.
One of the top 3.
Okay. I did not see that part. So thanks for that.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep, for sure. Stock appearing went to Shane Wiggins. Do you know Shane Wiggins?
Name
Bill Didion. He's with Bill Didion.
Yes.
He qualified P1, and then he took the main. Ryan Delisle, Richie Goulart, Davey Pombo, and Phil Goulart were your top 5 in the feature. And then they had, and then that was it. Yeah, that was it.
Well, I got 2 things here. Matt Strebe chimed in and said qualifying only lineups for the heats. And then Daniel Kravitz, the Kravitron, says he watched this. I watched this, and she did good in the heats. Where did they get to watch this?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wasn't privy on this.
Me either. I didn't see anything.
You all need to share out there.
Yeah, I didn't see it. But, so I was thumbing through, and Arizona Kart Club, because we were down there in December.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're 2016 champions, and they had 4 of them. They had KT 100, the Open Clash, Superstock, and Animal. Kyle Zimmerman took the KT 100 class. Our man Cody Welker was 2nd, and Tyler Most was 3rd in championship points. In the Open class, it was son and father. Pete Gresh Jr. and Sr. were 1-2, and Cameron Tyson was 3rd. In the Superstock, once again, it was Kyle Zimmerman.
Mm-hmm. Representing.
Pete Gresh Jr. and Cody Welker.
Oh,
3rd
nice, Cody.
Yeah. And then Cliff Turley took the Animal class, and Chris Stress was 2nd. So there must have only been 2 in there because they didn't have a 3rd one in there. But and then floating around, I saw over in Idaho, their 2016 champs were, Josh Cully won the title over there.
Really?
Yeah. Travis Anderson, who wasn't at this year's BK, but he was the year before, and he was a player. I mean, he was the guy that you just went, wow. He was 2nd, and Daniel Watkins was 3rd.
Nice.
Yeah. So Tim Lawrence 4th, Andy Richardson, and Rusty King. And then in Senior 4, Dale Schmitzker was your champ. Craig Anderson 2nd. Cully finished 3rd in points. Brady Brendan was 4th. Ian McGuire and Anthony O'Leary So that's what happened in 2016. I mean, I know it's a little late, but I just figured, hey, they deserve a few props, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
get it out there for sure.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Did you see that Arizona got regraded?
Yes, I saw that, and they put new dirt or something on there, or I don't know what's up, but
I don't know what's up either, but yeah, they got regraded, and then with the Nationals or the UAS coming in there later this year, that's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
A whole new surface, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The Idaho Speedway schedule, they kick off this weekend is at the Roadster Show, and then April 15th is when they start running at Black Canyon.
Yeah, we're gonna try and make it over on the May 10th or the May
6th one.
Yeah, the May 6th.
Yeah, yep. And they start at either 4 p.m. or 7 p.m. And the first UAS quarter point race is going to be June 10th at Sunset, and then they've got a big regional championship thing, and their second quarter point race on September 6th at Meridian. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hope I can go. But
Road trip.
well, yeah, it just depends if I'm not super late modeling. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so let's see. Great meeting at the Cascade Karting Association meeting on Sunday. It seemed like got a lot of things handled, right?
Yeah, I got a lot of things handled. We had good participation. I was very happy to see that. And the appropriate people, stepped up for positions. And
Bridges was there, and
yeah,
the Iron Man was there. His crew chief,
Art
Pipkin was there.
Yep, Wayno was there,
Yeah.
and I was there. My wife was there. You were there. Your wife was there. Stackman's wife was there. Pipkin's girlfriend was there.
Yeah, it was a
Vicky,
good turn. It was. Yeah, I was stunned. Really, I didn't
Yeah.
expect to see that many people when I walked in, but man, great turnout.
Yep.
And how did you guys get everything scored away on the bylaws and stuff?
We did. We got the bylaws out of the way. They'll be written up this week, and then we'll approve them at the next meeting, and then there'll be a PDF file printed up for that, so everybody can find it on the website, print it out, read it if they want to. Really breaks down the nuts and bolts of how the club works and what we do. That hadn't been done since 2009, so I'm very glad that we got through that, got it all updated. There wasn't a lot of changes, but there was a few things that needed to be addressed. Our next big meeting is rules, and those are always a long, arduous task. So, yeah.
Well, you know what I think is some of the guys from maybe Oregon Way should carpool it up, and that would be kind of a fun deal, right? To sit in and check out one of the meetings. That'd be kind of sweet.
Well, absolutely. We're doing it on a Saturday. It's going to be at my house. We're going to feed as many people as we can fit in there. And, like I said, it's going to be a long day, but we're going to push our way through it and hopefully feed everybody and give it limited access to beer, and we'll get her done.
Oh, that's it. Not coming.
Yeah, nobody's coming. Yeah. That was going to help the long day was the adult beverages.
I'm out of there.
So we're looking forward to that, though, and it seems like a good season. I had a good talk with the people at ORV. Things sound more positive than they have. They're more appreciative, and we'll be signing our contract with them to run our series. So. Things are looking better. I am up for re-election this year, and I have accepted the nominee. So you can count on me for another 2 years because I see nobody opposing me. So
Yeah.
that's where I'll be. The bad news on this whole deal is by doing the bylaws and running through those, we figured out that you can only do 4 terms as president, and then you must step down to either vice president or another role. This is my 4th year that I will be nominating into, so we do need another person to lead the ship. So keep that in mind, people. We need to keep this thing going, and I cannot do it in 2 years from now. So keep that in mind.
Oh, we'll just change the laws.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff going on back east. The UAS has their Frostbuster at Talladega. I tried to get some results, but man, it was I just didn't see anything. So I don't know what it is about results and getting them out there, but
it's rough back there. Even coverage of the race during the race was pretty limited. I know Chizzy was there and got some stuff out, and we appreciate that. But it was
Yeah. Well, we'll be back. We're going to start our segments here. Phil Pfau coming up at the 7:30 hour, 60 years in the sport, and going to be kind of cool to chat with him. So don't go anywhere. The 3 most expensive things you'll do in your life are buy a house, educate your kids, and go racing. What you don't need is another expense, and that's why you take your car and tow rigs to TruTech Automotive to ensure that they are maintained and repaired the right way with the right parts at the right price. And how's this for right? Extended to all racers is the In the Family 25% discount off of all preventative maintenance and repair labor. All you have to do is use the discount code NWRR to save. Now that's right. Get it done the right way, the TruTech way. TruTech Automotive, 6900 Northeast Highway 99, Hazeldale, Washington. 360-571-2302. Here's Product 41's Ronnie Swires with your driving tip of the week.
Hey racers, this is Ronnie Swires, professional driver coach for In the Driver's Seat Tip of the Week. Over the past few months, I've met many of you, and you know me as the man behind Product 41. But what you might not know is that I've been involved in amateur and professional motorsports as a driver and driver coach going on 29 years. Today, I want to share with you a quick tip about our eyes and how they are used or misused on the track. Most of us drivers tend to get lazy with our eyes as we stop looking as far ahead as we need to and start looking right out the front of the car or the cart. This causes us to start making small mistakes that ultimately cost us time. So when you feel like you're making these mistakes behind the wheel, remember, get your eyes up, look a little farther ahead, and you'll probably find it solves a lot of those small problems. Tune in next week for another driving tip. This is Ronnie Swires, In the Driver's Seat Tip of the Week.
All right. How cool was that, huh?
Wow, that is truly. We were talking about this just before the show came on today. We were watching some videos of some go-kart crashes and that, and I made the statement during that people don't look far enough forward, of where they're going, and that is so true in our industry. They only look at their bumper or their feet and what's in front of them, and that's how you get in trouble. You need to look down track, as far as you can see, basically.
Right.
Where do you want to be?
That's exactly right. And Ronnie Swires is available for coaching. So remember, he's more than just Product 41. He's got some cool gadgets and widgets and stuff for you, especially in the data acquisition. He's very knowledgeable there, and so that's good stuff. So you're shaking your head. What's going on?
Oh, just Craig Collins checking in. Joe Ransom and Sean Carr. I mean, we're just stacked show tonight, man.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, man. Hey, Craig Collins got a W. I think it was it last weekend? I think he won the 206 deal up there.
Nice.
Yeah. So good stuff. Craig Collins is a wheel man.
Yeah, definitely.
No bones about that.
I don't want to take anything away from 41, though. Your interview that you did with him and posted up, that was awesome. I listened to the whole thing, and the guy sounds like a great guy, and obviously knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, he is really good. Ronnie Swires is a good dude. And he'll take good care of you. Just ask. He's learning the speedway thing. He says, I don't always have the answers and stuff, but because I'm still learning the stuff. But, those things can still help, right? I mean, I think all that driving stuff just kind of overlaps. And
for sure. I mean, that's basically where Rusty's experience came from, is he started going to, what are they, not arena crosses, but, you take your own car to the parking lot.
Oh, like an autocross?
Autocross. He started doing that, and then he stepped in with a couple of coaches that, got him around, I think it was Portland Speedway, a few times in his own car. And it just, I mean, he's way ahead of me because of that.
Right.
So, yeah, I think anything that Ronnie's got to say is worthwhile. Yeah, don't discount it just because he hasn't spent that much time on the dirt or doing the speedway thing.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a busy guy once the summer hits. So if you want to get some time with Ronnie Swires, make sure you hit him up. And I'll get you the web address, but you can hit him up at product41.com right now. And we'll get that posted up on the on the page. So yeah. So well, are you all ready to go lapping with Mr. Lippy? Here we go.
I am. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lappin' with Lippy, brought to you by Scott Seal Coat. For all your sealing and striping needs, get a hold of Scott Seal Coat. We can stripe it or seal it. Whatever your needs are, just give Scott Seal Coat a call and we'll make it happen. Darn rain, can't go to work yet. Sucks. Anyways, so listen. Last week, first of all, what I have to say is what I had to say was not wrong. It was merely outdated, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and fill you in. I went through some air gaps, stuff like that. That stuff was all correct, but it's about the actual maintenance of your clutch. And what I did past tense, was the acetone in the tray and slosh it around. That's old school. The new school is what you really need to do is basically water and Dawn dishwashing detergent, which is it's a detergent. It will get that stuff out of there. And basically what you want to do is you want to get at your parts with a toothbrush, soft bristle. You don't go at it with a stainless steel brush or anything like that. You want to work the junk out of it that's in it, and the Dawn really does degrease everything, okay? But it doesn't get in and affect anything like what they use to bond the materials to the discs and different things like that. And you don't want to coat any of your metals with the acetones or the degreasers, because a lot of people like to use brake clean and different things like that. And, just get in there with the good old stuff that doesn't cost a lot of money, and you can wash it down the drain. And also it doesn't bother, you don't have to wear gloves and protect yourself from it and everything like that. So, just get in there with that stuff, get it cleaned up, blow it off right away. You do not want rust or anything else to set in on this stuff. So, excuse me, compressed air is your friend. And lubricate some of the moving parts with WD as you're going through the process, arms, different things like that, just to keep them lubricated until use. So scrub all that stuff down, and you've got a thrust bearing in there with washers that go on each side of it. I said to use Vaseline on that in a limited quantity. Don't do that, okay? This is the way I've done it, but it's not the proper way to do it. Get in there with a high temp grease. Usually it's red, but it's going to say high temp on it. It will take the high temperatures that your clutch makes in there, okay? But you want to put it in a very, very, very limited quantity on this thing, not a lot at all. And definitely stick with the high temp. Vaseline breaks down at about 137 degrees. We all know that that's just above our skin. Well, 40 degrees above our skin. But anyways, it's not much. So it liquefies at that. And where does it end up? It ends up in your clutch. Thank you, Shannon, for that bit of advice at Diablo Clutches. Use the high temp stuff. Lube it up a little bit, and only in sparing quantities. Only a pin-sized piece of grease, oil, chain lube, whatever, getting onto your clutch disc, the fibrous material, will cause a hot spot and cause you a problem. That small of a piece. So, this is something you need to monitor all the time and stay on top of and keep it out. It will drastically, affect the way your clutch works. So, and as far as using a little bit more grease, you want to do it on any of your bearings that ride on the shaft, okay? Go ahead and put a little bit more grease on those, but still not a lot. You don't want enough that's going to spill out the ends and work its way into it, because let's face it, it's centrifugal, so a fluid on the inside is going to want to spray its way to the outside. So make sure you lube the inner bearing that rides on your shaft, whether it be the jack shaft or the motor crankshaft or whatever. Get some lube in there on that, but not a lot, okay? Just enough to keep it slippery. And again, use high temp. It must say high temp. It's stickier. It takes a lot higher temperatures before it liquefies. So, keep that in there and keep it where it's supposed to be, and don't get it anywhere else. Let's talk about something I wasn't aware of, and this is new clutches or rebuilt clutches need to go through a pretty extensive break-in process, which, is much like a two-stroke motor. You need to fire them up. You need to run them on the stand, warm them up to 250 degrees, and then let them cool down. And then heat it up again and warm it up to 350 or 300 degrees, and then let it cool down. Do it again all the way up to 400 degrees. You need to have a temperature gauge on this stuff, and this is very touchy. It sets the glues and all the stuff that bond the materials onto your disc themselves into place and lock them in. And if you do it properly, your clutch will actually have more bite. Believe that or not, it will have more bite. Whereas if you just put a brand new clutch on, head out to your first heat race and hammer the business out of it, you're not going to go through the processes. You're not going to warm it up right. You're not going to let everything in that clutch seed its way in and make it to where it's a useful clutch. So this is very important, and you need to go through this stuff if you have a bully or a bully style clutch. There is a break-in process. Follow the procedure. It's usually in the box if you buy a brand new one. If you don't, if you have it rebuilt, go through these processes to get it properly broke in and make it a usable clutch. Any of these clutches work much better at operating temperature rather than cool temperature as well. So when you take out onto the track and you're taking your hot laps and that kind of stuff, work your clutch. Don't just idle it around out there. Get some heat in that thing. The more heat and the more you get it up to operating temperature, once it's broke in, the more grip, the more bite, the more bang, the more solid that thing is going to lock in. So you want to work your clutch in your hot laps. You want to give it a little zing on the grid, that kind of stuff to warm it up, to get it where you want. Don't take off with a cool clutch and try and work your way to the front. Sure, you can do it, but it's not going to give you the best. So, just keep these things in mind when you're running these. Something else that I've figured out is, for me, I really like the Bowler discs. They seem to work really well. My backup clutch, if I wasn't able to get that, would be a Rockstar sold through George Bark. Both of those discs are really, really, really good discs. There's a lot of different aftermarket discs out there. They're not all the same. They don't all have the same material. They're not used with the same stuff that adheres them onto their disc. So just keep that in mind. Yes, both of those cost a little bit more, but when you're only talking $5 more than the other ones, it's really worth it, people. It truly is. So, keep that in mind if you're going through and you're doing your own stuff. Go for the Bowler or else go for the Rockstar stuff. Both of those things are definitely, I feel, better than some of the aftermarket stuff that's out there that has a no name on it and you can pick up for $12. It's just not worth it. Step up and pay the extra.
Daryl Kessel says a wet clutch does not have that issue. Is that true?
I'm not sure which issue he was referring to. Wet clutches are a different breed. I run the Berkeys a lot. I truly like them. You will lose a little horsepower to those because obviously you're fighting a wet clutch, a clutch that is encapsulated in an oil material. So you're going to pull a little bit more away from it. They are not as susceptible to heat because they do dissipate a lot better than the dry clutches do. They are definitely more maintenance. I am into my clutches more than a Bully is. You can run a Bully I've heard people run them for 3 or 4 years and never had any problem with them. On the same token, Renee says she's got, I think it was 50 or 70 races on her Berkey. I get about 2 seasons out of mine and then I'm into it and going through it. We have several, so we just kind of rotate them through. But they are definitely better in a lot of caution situations. I wouldn't say they're better with higher horsepower. I think that it's pretty much up to the individual what they want to do. Either one will handle a lot of horsepower. It just depends on how many discs you want with the dry clutches. The Berkeys, they run 5 clutches in them, I want to say. So they'll handle whatever you want to throw at them. So it's now the
300 mains, she said, on mine
Yeah.
with 0.
Yeah, see, exactly. You know, they're definitely a good bulletproof clutch. You can, well, she probably doesn't abuse hers like I do on occasion just by missing my tune-up, or my gear. But you know, it's personal preference. Now, if you're comparing it to a DXL, there is no comparison. I would not. I started running DXL, the Horseman clutches, and I would not run them anymore. It's way more maintenance than I'm into, and they're very fickle. When you get them right, they're good. When you don't, they're a handful. And usually you can only abuse those a few times before stuff starts coming apart. So, you know, there isn't any other wet clutches out there that I would recommend. There's a Steel Nitro. Those have died out quite a bit. People did like them when they were there. I'm not aware of too many other wet clutches that I can think of out there. So I'm going to be bumping up against my time here. I just want to throw one more tidbit out there that I pulled off of the Bully site. Now, this is a little bit older as far as what it has to say, but it's something that I've ran into with the clutches and didn't know until I was doing a little bit more research this week about the clutches, but here it goes. This is from a supplement of information right off the Bully website. To combat the bushing and bearing slippage, the Bully clutch sprockets have been redesigned. The 12s and the 13s now have a bushing ring in the base of the sprocket to make room for the snap ring, basically, that holds it on. And the base of that sprocket is made thicker. And the standard thrust washer that's always been used isn't able to be used anymore because the base is thicker. You now need a thinner thrust washer in there. See, this is the part I didn't know about. I've had a few gears that I've tried to put on that I just couldn't fit the snap ring on it, and it's because I was using the wrong thrust washer bearing. So they make a thick and a thin on these things. So keep that in mind when you run into this. It's to be used with the 12s and the 13 sprockets and should be pressed in place into the drum first and then the snap ring installed. So they want you to install the sprocket first and then the snap ring into it to hold it in place. To change the sprocket, you need to remove the snap ring first, obviously, and then pull it off. So there's a little tidbit that I didn't know about that was out there. The 14 through 21 sprockets also use the new, thinner retainer washer to be used on those as well, which is something else I didn't know about. It helps to prevent the base of the bearing from slopping in and out towards the clutch. So these sprockets have also been made thicker and require the thinner washer in addition to is now necessary to be used on, and then they give the washer bearings, which is a 98-013 outer thrust washer that's to be used on these things. And also, another little tidbit here is that all Bully sprockets, the 12s and the 13s, use a bronze bushing on the inside of them. I was not aware of that. Some of the aftermarket stuff uses a brass, which Bully discourages against and says it can cause some catastrophic clutch failure. They recommend going with the bronze. It's much more durable than the brass, and that's why they are using it and wish that the others would adopt the same thing, but they won't, probably because of cost. So there's just a little tidbit I picked up off of the Bully website. Bully has plenty of stuff on their website. Don't be afraid to go there, go through it. There's plenty of stuff there. Also, Diablo Clutches or Go Fast HP has got a great website as far as breaking down what you need to be doing to your clutch between, during a rebuild. That kind of stuff when you're working on it. The other thing that I want to ask about or tell you about is the biggest thing that I see with the Bully clutches when people install them onto their crankshafts is they're not aware of the end play that needs to come into play on these things. If you have a clutch and you mount it on there and the clutch itself sticks out further than your shaft, whether it be the jack shaft or the crankshaft, and you run your nut down on the end of it that locks it in place, you're going to be binding your clutch up. Once you put that nut washer and bolt onto the bolt washers onto the end of it and lock it into place, you should still be able to move your clutch assembly in and out minutely. If you cannot do that, then you need to take like a 1/4-inch washer, which if you buy it from Home Depot or Lowe's, is going to fit on a 5/16 bolt, which is usually what locks these things in place. They say 1/4-inch, but they'll fit over the 5/16 just barely. It's going to give you enough clearance underneath that washer so that your clutch has got that end play that it needs, because if the clutch doesn't have the end play to slide back and forth on the shaft, it's going to be locked down and it is not going to work properly. Sometimes they'll stay locked up from the get-go. Other times they'll do it when you don't want them to. So check the end play. If it don't have any, then you need to add a washer in underneath the big washer that holds the clutch from sliding off the shaft. Now, if you've got too much, I use a 3/4-inch for the step spindles on the newer models. I use those to space out the back side of it. I also have jack shaft spacers that I use to space it out, because too much end play on your clutch is also a bad thing. So that's just a few things for you to keep in mind, and I am bumping right up to my time.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You know, I don't know how many of you are planning on doing your, taking it to the next level, but I'm just going to give you 10 quick tips here that are going to help you get there, and these are a must. These are something that you can find at Marketing at Full Speed, but these are just some helpful hints that you can maybe think about. If you're planning on it. Some of you younger guys that are looking to make the step, number one, you've got to have a burning desire. And when I say burning, I mean like no isn't an option or not isn't an option. And here's a quote for you that should sum it up. It says, if you desire something greatly, have the guts to stake everything on attaining it. And that is nothing truer than that one right there. Number two, have a plan. I mean, a dream or a goal without a plan is just a wish. And you need a step-by-step plan of how you want the move to go, how you're going to move up. Don't worry about right now if you're not exactly sure. Just make something. It's amazing what the power of action will do if you just put it down on paper. You can always change it, but I believe action is the key here. So you got to make a plan so you know which way you're going. Number three, you can't stay in one division for too long. You should always be working one step ahead. So in other words, if you're running this division, while you're running that division, you need to be working on the steps that it's going to take to move up to the next division. It's just crucial. Number four, network. You need to be building relationships and getting all kinds of marketing mentors that can help expand you and help you avoid the actions that could hang you up and set you back. So this also is going to show them that you're respectful and coachable, all of which you need to be, and you're also open to working with other folks, which is also what you need to be. So what you know helps you get there. Who you know will get you in. And no truer sentiment than that. I'm sure even Jeff can attest to that.
Oh, yeah.
Promoting yourself is number five. And I mean in a big way, with authentic and meaningful content about yourself. So no fluff, no BS, no hype stuff that people are going to just read right through, because they will read right through it. It's got to be, sincere, real stuff that shows that you're a leader and that people succeed when they're surrounded by you or associated with you. And then that in turn just makes your worth go way up, and it shows that you've got potential to marketing partners. So that's a huge one. So don't forget, it's okay to promote yourself. You're not cocky, you're not arrogant, as long as it's real and truthful. Testimonies. This is another one, number 6. Get influential people and people who are well respected to get behind you. Ask them to write you a letter. Ask them to give you a quote or something that shows that you've got what it takes and that you've got some potential moving ahead. So testimonials are huge. Number 7, show. This is a tough one because I know as competitors this is really tough, but you need to show a sincere happiness when others are making goals or making strides or making steps. You need to show that you're sincerely happy for them. And what that does is it shows that you're not just thinking about yourself, but what it also does is, you take care of those who take care of you, right? So you never know what guy is going to remember the fact that you were sincerely happy for his success, and he's going to try to help you make the same step. So show a sincere, and it's tough to do, I know, because you're like, man, that dude, man. No, just be sincerely happy. You're going to get yours. It's just a matter of time. Number 8 is have an attitude of gratitude. No matter how big or how small your help is, no matter who they are, how much money, whether it's $1 or $25, the list should be long, helping you get where you want to go. And you need to remember to be grateful for everything. No matter how small the step is, you need to be grateful for it. I mean, be thankful that you even get to race. That's a huge thing. And then it just shows potential marketers that you appreciate the help that you're receiving, regardless of how small it is. Number 9, be more concerned about your character than you are your reputation. Your reputation is what people perceive you to be. Your character is what you really are. And what you really are is most important. And trust me, when the going gets tough, your real character is going to show. Like they say, sports don't build character. Sports reveal it. And so you want to make sure that you're thinking before you're speaking. You don't want to say something that you're going to regret down the road or that can set you back. I mean, so this one's probably tough for a lot of people.
It's a big one out of all of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably one of the most, if not the most important one. So just think before you speak. I mean, just think about it. Before you go blowing up at the officials, you're always going to get calls you don't like. They're going to work out in the wash. But don't ruin it and set yourself back by, going there and losing your mind on somebody. It's just not worth it. And number 10, this is a big one too. And I don't know how many people do this, but man, you need to be constantly educating yourself. I mean, education is something nobody can take away from you. So the more you have, the better you're going to be. And racing changes at a big pace. Just ask any of these guys. I mean, if you miss a little bit, you're really behind the 8 ball.
Absolutely.
Like a season. I mean, it's amazing how much things change in a season, or even 6 months. I mean, look at the bodies, how it went from, snow comes out with that body, and it changes the complexion of everything.
Yep.
So be educating yourself. Read anything you can get your hands on setup and on, team organization, and take it. I mean, none of it is bad, but just you want to continually educate yourself and improve yourself. And again, how do you improve, or how do you better any situation? You improve yourself first, and then everything else will improve in the process. So those are your 10 steps to racing success, and hopefully helping you find some marketing partners to get you some money. I encourage you guys to go to that site. She's got a lot of free material. I say free, whether it be, letters of, you're going to ask, what word am I looking for? Proposals. She's got letters of proposals. She's got all kinds of free goodies there. and she does a lot of free seminars and stuff. So take advantage of that stuff, whether you think you need it or not. If nothing else, maybe it's something you can help another young racer that's looking to maybe go a little further than you are, and give them some pointers and help them out. But continually educate yourself and take advantage of all the free stuff that's available out there. I mean, it's just there's a ton of it. You just got to look for it. So, especially you UAS guys, you guys are always, you need the help. You need the money so we can pack these things up and have a, really good series. Man, get out there and hustle it. What do you got to lose? I mean, worst you can get is some money.
And worst thing to say is no.
Yeah, and then you're no better off than when you started. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt, but you've got some practice under your belt. Although the guy may say, hey, you know what? I kind of like it. Here's $5,000. I mean, who couldn't use that? So that's all I'm saying is be creative. Be creative, people. It certainly can't hurt. And just remember, if you desire something greatly, have the guts to stake everything on obtaining it. That's the key. That is the key. So I'm done early.
Yeah, I like what Wes Gibbs has to say there. Asking is free.
It is.
So.
It is. And there again, advice for driver and crew. That's 100% correct. Lippy, and I think we talked about this one other time, when we were talking about losing our minds, where you go up there and you're just blowing a gas. You got to remember, you are representing a whole bunch more than just Terry Bridges or Glenn Tower or whatever. You're representing the sport as a whole and the class as a whole, or the series or whatever it is you're involved in. And by you acting a fool and not maintaining yourself, I mean, it shows. I mean, it hurts everybody. It's not good good for the sport. And lastly, I want to leave with this. I loved it. Stephen Blakesley, who's the announcer down at Kern County, got on Twitter last night, and he says, fellow announcers, please refrain from free announcing. It does our industry no good. And I was amazed that I don't know what happened to promote that, but
you're worth more than that.
I couldn't. Yeah, and a free gig you may get, but it also you're telling them what you think you're worth too as well. So that was I was happy to see that. Same goes true with this deal. Kind of goes hand in hand. Man, go after your stuff. Know what you're worth. And don't be afraid to ask for that. I mean, it's a lot better than him humming around. Well, geez, man, go in there and say, this is boom. But you've got to make sure you've got everything in place. So,
ducks in a row before you go asking.
Ducks in a row before you go asking. How are we doing on time?
Oh, we got
about
minutes.
3 minutes. Yeah. So, don't forget the loader's coming up. He's got part 2 of the concussion after we get done with our 60-year man, Mr. Phil Pfau. So, you know what? We'll go to a quick break, and we'll be back right after this. Racing. It's preparation. It's focus. It's attention to detail. And when you try to take shortcuts, it shows. At Speed City, Southern Oregon's karting headquarters, distributor for Ultramax, Legend, QRC, Bell Helmets, and K1 race gear, they don't roll like that. Speed City is committed to roll the way champions roll by keeping racers on track with knowledge, integrity, and performance. No shortcuts, no negativity, no other motives. You don't just have their word on it, you've got their name on it. So get back to having fun and get to calling Speed City. Speed City, LLC, keeping racers on track with quality service and friendship. 541-531-1222.
Hey, racers, going back to my clutch segment here. Tim Chase rattled my cage there just a little bit ago with a tidbit that I should have had in my segment that I did not have, and that is red Loctite. Please use it on your bolt that retains your clutch, okay? I personally have had this issue twice. Blue Loctite doesn't cut it. No Loctite is no good. I also, at least every other weekend, hand out extra bolts and washers and lock nuts that hold down the clutches. So please, people, put red Loctite on those things before you wrench them down. You'll be much thankful.
your favorite drivers, and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics. All right, everybody. Our guest this evening, I'm glad he's here. I got to say, he's the guy that he taught me all about motorsports. What I know about not only karting, but more importantly about the sport, I learned from this man. 60 years in the business going on this coming December, and his name is Mr. Phil Pfau. What's going on, Flip? How are you?
Oh, great, Terry. I hope everybody's fine out there.
Absolutely, man. You know, I mean, we were just sitting here earlier before the show, and it was like, you know, can you imagine, like Jeff said, he said, wouldn't you like to have a nickel for every lap that Pfau has run? I mean, it was like, hell yes, I would. We'd be in a pretty nice studio right now.
Oh, you know, it's you can get dizzy if you start thinking about all the times and laps and basically what those laps have meant to you and what you've gotten out of them and how you've put laps and races and events and everything together, and it's quite a show.
I mean, you're like the Iron Man of the sport. I mean, 60 years, that is coming up in in December. I mean, my God, you've basically seen everything.
You know, I've lived the dream when you consider people know me for karting, but it isn't just karting. At the same time, when I was parallel, you know, running karting, I was racing motorcycles, motocross and flat track, and prior to that, I had a whole years with slot car racing, and you know, I ended up winning with everything, and basically settled in with karting, which, trust me, is the safest thing I've ever been in considering being injured or anything. My whole career has been very safe. I can't say I've ever been hurt, and that's saying a lot when you know, I've had the luxury of racing from 2.5 horse Clinton 2-cycle engines all the way up to, you know, full tilt 250 supercart type road taxes, and you name it, from feast to famine, boy. It's a heck of a ride when you get to experience all that power and all that speed and the challenge of all the different tracks you have to take on and all the different competitors. It's called Do Your Homework, and you were privileged to be with me, and I was privileged to be with you, and the chemistry of what you and I put together was something that we'll always remember.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But you know, so in that 60 years, boy, the sport's evolved. I mean, it's gone, you know, from the Max and stuff to, you know, in the mid to late 70s when Yamaha came out with the you know, the revitalization of karting with the Yamaha KT100, and I mean, and then you look at it where it shifts over. I mean, who would have ever thought, you know, shifters would be running on sprint tracks? I mean, guys would show up and we're like, hey man, you need to go to PIR's down the road another half an hour, you know? I mean, and now here we are running shifter stuff. So, but in your mind, having seen everything evolve, I mean, how do you envision the sport now? I mean, where has it gone?
Well, I think the sport is trying to find its direction in a sense from what I see. You know, when you go through the cycles of the amount of years, you know, the birth of it in the 50s and kind of real growth of the industry and the growth of the people dove into this sport back in the early 60s. And then, you know, you had the contest between karting and when the Honda 50 in 90s and that motorcycle industry was making inroads. And so as you see the competition develops in other industries, which basically, competes against the same type of people you want to bring into your sport. And so you have to understand timing is everything, and they both got a good grip on the people's attention, and it brought a lot of people into the sport. And you're seeing, grandsons and second, third, fourth,
generations.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, it's amazing when people come up and talk to you, and they say, "This is my son," and it puts it all in perspective.
Yeah, it sure does. Well, but it's also gone the other way, right? I mean, there's a lot of karting that's no longer around anymore. And I don't know. I mean, is that Rotax or what? I mean, you look at Ladd Gaskets and you look at, SDH that made the motor. I mean, all those, it was, there was people all over the place. Now you've basically got, nothing. I mean, all those.
Well, you have the extension of the way the sport is developed, and those were, all those people that were players in the industry back then were vital to the industry, not only for the people that produced it, but the people that used it, and it was all catered to what was state of the art and running at that time. And time goes on, people get older and they move on and do other things, and when you play the market in the karting industry, I know there's good times and there's tough times in any business, and race business, even on a miniature motorsports level, as karting is, it still has the same expenditures in relationship to what the costs are, and you have to have a certain budget, and you have to understand what you can do with that budget. And I know as I was growing up, what was it? 25 cents a carrier, $3 a day, and then from there to $1.05. That was my first paycheck, and and you go from there.
Wow. Well, do you like where the sport has gone?
I knew when the sport went to 4-cycle, just because of all the standards that we have to live up to, and some good, some bad, but the way the EPA standards are, and I've been in 2 other industries. In my business career, I had Vespa franchise, and I had Bultaco franchise, and during my motocross period, and they all got closed down because the franchises got shut down because all the 2-cycle engines were not brought into the country, and so it became the handwriting was on the wall at that time. It was just a moratorium on how long the 2 cycles were going to last, and as you can see it's got exemptions in certain phases of kart racing, but eventually it will probably all be 4 cycles.
Right. But the sport as a whole, do you like the direction it's going? I mean, is there anything you think that they could do differently that would make it better?
Oh, I just think what I see is the same problem of all times when you want to promote in your own area, which basically I know in the Northwest area, once I took my mind off of bikes and looked at karting back in the mid-'70s, just prior to Yamaha coming out and giving karting the big shot in the arm that they did by getting involved, and good, bad, or indifferent as far as their kart, at least they made an effort, and in some ways it opened up a lot of karting dealerships and motorcycle franchises, and that exposure brought tons of people into karting through another franchise, and when it was all said and done, the sport was really taken off and flourishing in the 70s. Yamaha coming into it put a lot of time, money, and promotion into it, and we're still seeing that evidence to this day.
Right. So, and you said the biggest craze was back when IKF and implemented the novice class, and then since then that has gone away. I mean,
yeah.
Is that you feel pretty strongly about that?
Well, between the Yamaha engine and the novice class structure that they had with light and heavy, giving the people a 2-year kind of buffer there of time to go out and race, and they built their own fraternity and sorority of friendships of new people racing against new people. I think it was a fine example of what keeping it pure, making the people that come out, if you won 5 main events in a 2-year period, then obviously you were moved up and out of the class. But it was a learning curve. The classes were probably some of the biggest classes for a number of years that class structure was in play, and yet I think politics took it out when it really comes down to it, because it isn't an insurance problem that they seem to draw it to, but there was probably other undertone reasons. But the sport has those things that at once in a while it goes on that is counterproductive. But you learn by the past, you learn by the history of what it yielded, and it yielded a very fine, successful period of growth in karting, and that's where probably to this day you still have some of those people that came in during that period are still here. But retention has been the biggest problem in karting, and I'm sure it is in other forms of motorsports. But to keep people's interest and keep it viable and affordable, and so people can budget and stay in the sport a long time, and by what we're doing right now, injecting the Predator class, a very inexpensive class to put on a cart and get somebody started and whatever. I would like to say that I think they need to oversee that class a lot tighter. I think they need to take people that have experience out of it, and they can have an experienced class. I'm sure they can get enough people and put a lot of the hot shots in that class and put a real combative type race on for people where you're going to see experience, but keep the beginner level class pure. Everybody promote the fact that they have a place to bring their friends in that can go out and have a great time, and they'll go home and tell their neighbors, and before long that's how it was done in the 50s, 60s, 70s, right to the current times. It hasn't changed. People just have to understand that when you have a problem in classes and it's controversial and whatever, you need to nail the controversy. And usually in the beginner opening classes, like we're trying to get off the ground, we need people in there that feel like they have a chance to enjoy it without somebody blowing their doors off that shouldn't be in the class. So I think everybody should kind of look at it in this period. I can tell you it does work when it's here, and if it's not, or you can do the same type of progress. Put a limit on wins. Somebody, it's an entry level. Put a limit on wins. So if they win that share, then put them up to the next class. Tell them, they can put their engine out there. Somebody will snatch it up. They're not going to lose a dime, and it gets another person started. But unless you have a revolving path for people to come in, feel good, get the grip, and understand the atmosphere of the camaraderie of karting, they never will.
Right. Jeff, you had a question?
Hey, Phil, when we were down there at the BK and you was up there with Terry and I in the booth, I had a question I was going to ask you, and you got out of there before I ever got to it. But
I can't hear you too clearly. Maybe you can move closer to the speaker or something?
Here, we'll try that.
My ears, I think all those years of tuning engines, I think my ears are starting to falter too. I wear glasses now where I never had to do that, but
No, I do too.
that's probably working on too many carburetors.
Is that any better?
Oh, much better.
Okay, when we were down there at the BK and we were sitting up there in the booth, there was a question I was always going to ask you. I never got to it, but what out of all these tracks on the Northwest was your favorite?
Oh, by far, Pat's Acres. Pat's Acres. I was racing flat track on the fence across the way from where the track is, because there was a flat track there in the 60s, and I happened to look over the fence, and they were just building Pat's Acres, and I got to come out and try the track out eventually, and I returned to it in the mid 70s, and it's always been. I just like the atmosphere, the culture of the track. It's always yielded great racing, and it's a super challenging track. Anybody that was there in the 95 Grand Nationals when they had 640 some entries, and it went for a solid week, never had a problem, nobody hurt. It was one of those monumental Grand Nationals, if not one of the best ever for ITF Sprint Grand National racing, and we basically opened up a lot of eyes when people came to Pat's Acres and saw and heard how beautiful it was, and spent a very, very enriching week there, enjoying probably some of the best racing they've ever seen for sprint kart racing.
I definitely agree with that, Phil. This is Lippy. It is one of the most beautiful tracks up here in the Northwest, undoubtedly, and I'm so glad that it is continued to operate, because it is one of the true gems up here. My question for you is, how do you feel about the age rule? Being you've been in it this long and you've seen so many competitors come up through the ranks, it's truly been, an IKF-dominated area, and so therefore most of us follow the IKF rules, the AKA 16-year-old, you're an adult type of a rule. I just want to get your thoughts on how you feel about that.
Well, I've been I know when you start looking at age, when I went into professional AMA flat track racing, you basically had to be 16 years of age and at that time, and there were people that put paperwork forth that challenged that at 14, 15 years of age. They were an exception to the policy in a sense, and they proved it with their ability that they were able to show the hierarchy in charge, and for the most part, the ones that there was the great Mark Williams, national number 70 in flat track racing, and he never did run a novice. Never entered through the novice program. He was good enough that he went right into the junior program and became expert and a national rated rider. And so people that have that type of gift, I think, let them step forward and challenge it. I think there's exceptions to everything. I know there's a stern rule, and they do that for insurance purposes is more than anything the reason why they draw a line. But at the same time, things can be altered if you can put the proof forward and show people that you have the ability. I think it should be taken under consideration, because you're seeing these micros and everything else out there that there's some very young kids in those things that are wheeling those cars and absolutely making them look like $1 million. I'm just impressed what I see getting in those cars at that young age. I can't even imagine what I would have felt like at 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age. I mean, I had to wait to 18 to get on my first set of duels in a go-kart, and I was frothing at the mouth waiting that long.
I totally agree. That's why I asked the question. I also spend some time with Jack down here at Kartorama, it's something that him and I bump heads about constantly, because I do believe, as you do, there are exceptions to the rule, and when you keep it hard and fast, it's not always the best thing for our sport. But I understand that there's rules and there's insurance, and that's why things are the way they are. I just wanted to get your feeling on that. I have one more question for you, and with
Sure.
the IKF Nationals coming to the Ridge, are we going to see you come up and play in that?
You know what? I plan to be there whether I race or not, just for the simple reason it's been quite a while since I've been to a road race. But I still got my laydown twin. I still got my laydown single, and my pro line, and my twin was an Emmy, and they're still sitting there. I can break one out if I have to, but I'd like to come and meet the people again and attend the event.
They don't want him showing up. They do not, especially
I
with
want
that
him
twin.
showing up.
Especially with that twin, they do not want him showing up.
Well, it's every year it's probably just as exciting as the next. I might not be behind the wheel driving these things and getting that type of enjoyment out of it, but you know what? When you get old, it's enjoyable to be around the people and see the next wave coming through. And as you can see, they've got beautiful equipment to work with, which was all brought to pass from the past. And these people have got a lot of accolades that are going for them, being in this equipment that they have now. They only have to feel very, very fortunate that it's so precision, because I can tell you some real loose nut bolt type background that it was anything but billet.
Right on. Well, Phil, we're about out of time, buddy, but I appreciate you being on the show, and we've got another little show to do. So those of you that have enjoyed this, stay tuned, because we're gonna I'm gonna have Phil on our In the Groove show, and we're gonna really talk some history. So, Phil, thanks a million, man, for taking the time to be on the show.
Oh, anytime. I enjoy it. And if there's any people out there with questions about karting or need to understand something from the past, my internet will be active. My outlets of Facebook and stuff. So I'm going to get online and start communicating with people and giving them hopefully a different perspective of what they've got of karting right now, so maybe they can learn something different.
Right on. Well, thanks again, man. We'll talk soon, all right?
Thank you very much, Terry. I appreciate it.
You bet, Phil. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Phil Pfau, everybody. Good guy, great guy, lots of history. He's probably forgotten more than most of us will ever know.
Absolutely. There's
So-
a question right there that Ronnie Cox posted up, though, that you should be asking him on your segment there, is who does he think the toughest competitor that he was up against? That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, I will ask him that. Thanks, Rocket. Well, we got to get into this final segment. Jeff kind of got shorted here. I'm sorry about that, but
Hey, it's all worth it listening to Phil.
let's get it.
We're tracking and packing around the Northwest with the loader, Jeff Eden.
Well, as you know, last week we were working on talking about concussions and this Dave Ely, of what he had been through. And this week's kind of going to give a little bit more of that Dr. Steven Stash did a deal on the do's and don'ts if you have a concussion for treatment. One of the things you do, you ice. You ice your head, your neck. Just, don't make yourself uncomfortable, but this is something you need to do. It'll help the swelling in your head to start to go down. Eat light. Do not go out and have 3 cheeseburgers and
Gorge yourself.
yeah, you want to be realistic about what you got going on. Right now you're not feeling good. Sleep. That's one of the things that used to be they used to tell you don't sleep. My son was playing football for Central Washington, got a real severe concussion down in Texas, and they kept him awake on the bus clear back to the airport, and then kept him awake all the way home.
Wow.
And now they say, don't, go to sleep. Let your brain
Heal.
rest.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the next thing on the do list is rest. So then that's those things right there are really, really important to getting your concussion under control. There's really no need to worry about your eyes. A lot of people and they stress. We were stressing last time that one eye is going to follow, one's not. It's not going to really matter because until your brain decides it wants to operate in its capacity, it's not going to do it anyway. You don't need to be woke up every couple hours. It's just it's not a necessity anymore. It's one of the things they just want you to rest. Just checking your reflexes, not necessary. They're slow. We know that until it's healing. And then basically just stay in bed. Don't get up and try to do things you really don't need to do. And then the complete do not list will hurt most people because number one is no alcohol.
Mount.
Period. They do not want you to have anything that's going to alter your brain.
Makes sense, though.
Do not drive. If you are, excuse me, if you're in the concussion state, do not drive. You're driving a car down the road. You're not right.
No, absolutely.
And you ought to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not exercise or do not play video games. That Earnhardt said that was the worst thing out of his whole deal was they got him off his video games. You can take ibuprofen and take aspirin, but no anti-inflammatories.
Wow.
I haven't figured out why yet, and I couldn't find out why, but that's just this guy's take on it. Limit things you're going to do. Limit your TV to 30 minutes a day. Basically, don't do it. Limit your time on the computer or using your phone. And then stay away from bright lights and real loud noises because that's just going to agitate things.
Yeah, I can contest to that.
You got agitated?
No, just bright lights hurt my eyes the next day. Terribly.
And then one of the misconceptions of helmets and containment seats and all this stuff is they prevent concussions. They do not. They're not. They were never designed to prevent a concussion. They were designed to keep from having skull and facial injuries with stuff flying at the car, in the car. They were never designed as a concussion item.
Right, I think they were more designed to keep your neck where it's supposed to be, but actually a concussion is when your brain slaps into the front or the side of your skull, right?
Yeah.
It's not actually where you stress your neck or anything like that. It's your brain rattling around in your nut.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. The helmets fit as tight as you want. It isn't going to do anything there.
Right.
It's designed to keep stuff from flying in and cutting the heck out of you. Snell and the FIA they're constantly working on this stuff and trying to make things better. Excuse me. They are, and they're all working on different types of foam, different densities of foam, and different stuff for the seats around the driver's head. Bill Simpson, was a big innovator within our motorsports period. I mean, he was the first one that did fire suits. He's the first ones that did the gloves, the shoes, the helmets, and then basically got a blind eye turned on to him by the racing world. He got sued, basically had to give up Simpson products. It wasn't a very good deal, and the lawsuit, if you ever get a chance, go back and look at it. Very ugly. But Simpson's been working with, and I may have touched on this last week, and I don't remember what I did because I skipped around a little bit, but with a football. And he put out 3,000 helmets to high school football players. And they monitored these things really close. After 1 year, and with all the contact, head-to-head and all the stuff that went on, there was 27 headaches, 7 minor concussions, and no major concussions. And this is just in, he has got this machine. It looks really cool. It's kind of like what the FI's got. They got it, they drop, they bang. But he checks, he's doing the foams and the stuff to where the helmet takes the brunt of, not your brain's going to take the brunt of. So it's an interesting deal. I'm glad to see that Bill just didn't leave racing all the way, didn't leave because he had talents to this stuff. So anyway, that's what I'm going to work on. That's next week we're going to do a little bit about some of the guys that are doing stuff to help us with this problem to where maybe one of these days we won't have any.
Didn't Bill actually bring in the fire resistant? Wasn't he the one that innovated or came up with the fire resistant materials?
Yep. He stood out in the middle of the parking lot, doused himself with gas, and set himself on fire.
Yeah, see, I remembered seeing that. Yeah, we just don't have people like that anymore, really. I mean, we don't. So
yeah, they burn up.
Great guy.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, quickly, I had something for Jason Suchich this weekend. Don't forget, Salem's got their final event of the year, the Cage Karts 2-day show.
Yeah.
All the heats for everybody are going to be on Saturday. Main events are on Sunday. Saturday night, they're having the wingless 500s down there running the show, so it's going to be good stuff. And they're giving away a free helmet. And you can buy tickets at Jason Suchich's trailer. You get your choice of color. You get your choice of whatever the case is. And, God, I can't remember what it is. It was like 3 for $5 or I can't remember. Jason, put that up there. I can't remember what it was, but they're going to have a drawing for it, so you can buy the raffle tickets, and they're going to raffle off this cool helmet. And you get your choice of color and all that cool stuff. That's going on this weekend.
Well, where are we going to be next week?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, we're going to do something really cool.
Yes,
we're going to be at Angel Motorsports, Renee Angel shop up in Woodinville, Washington. I'm sure you guys are all welcome to come by and hang out if you want to be a part of it, but we're going to try our hand at Facebook Live.
Oh, nice.
She thought that would be kind of a cool idea, so we're going to be live on Facebook as well. You can still tune in, so, I mean, if you can do both, that's what I do. Turn it on your phone and get on your computer and watch us live there from, you get to see their brand new shop up in Woodinville, Washington. Renee Angel, Shane Biles. So it should be a good time.
And Speedway.
And Speedway. Correct. I called him Freeway, and I got busted for that. I don't know if you saw that. I was thinking of my cat, so Shane goes, no, it's Speedway, Terry.
Yes, it is.
So.
Got a little bit of a fact.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, let's do that before we get out of here.
Well, I one of my most favorite movies ever is Caddyshack.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
Caddyshack was actually Rodney Dangerfield's first major film.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never thought that. I didn't know that either. I just didn't know it. And then Bill Murray was the groundskeeper at this Indian Hill Country Club.
Mm-hmm.
He actually was one when he was a kid, too, there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it, folks.
That's it. Oh, okay. Well, sweet. So, yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Big 2-day show going on at Salem. I'm going to be there. I get to call it. Yeehaw. So it'll be my final one at Salem. Hope everybody comes out and supports them. Who am I picking? Well, Johnny Burke was almost out. He hurt his ankle playing basketball, tore some ligaments, but the doctor gave him the okay to roll, so he should be there.
Must have been his left foot.
It must be. And he could probably do it. Well, actually, he doesn't need that anymore, and he's already got, but because he don't use it enough, probably. But hopefully everything works out, and they get a good turnout. Kenny Boardman Jr., I understand, is supposed to be there. It should be some stuff going on. Casey Smith, that's one of the guys I think just got a shot to win it. Burke, Smith, or Kenny Boardman Jr. Now, there's probably a lot of Christian Osborne. He won round 1. So what will he do in round 2? I don't know. He's gonna have to hustle. So, are you going down, Lip?
No, I'm not.
It depends on if you feel any good, huh?
Exactly.
Yep. So we'll have results all from that coming up next week. Don't forget the show tomorrow, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern. We are in the groove with Anna Marie on marketing at full speed. And stay tuned also. We're going to have a pretty good history lesson from the man himself, Mr. Phil Pfau. 60 years in the sport. And he'll be on our In the Groove program, too, so stay tuned for that. Lippy, you got anything to close?
Be true, be strong, and smile at somebody.
That's it. You never know whose day you might make.
Truly.
Loader?
I can't top that.
You can't top that.
I can't.
So next week, we are live from Angel Motorsports on the Northwest Race Report, Facebook Live. So make sure you spread the word. Appreciate all the support. This show is going on because of you guys. So appreciate all you guys for tuning in every week. And thanks a million.
Be there or be square.
Yep.
God is good.
And if somebody's on the bottom, Lippy,
I'm going to the high side.
thank you.
Hitting her hard.
We love you. See you next week.
Go-kart shops have really taken a huge blow. One of the great go-kart shops out there is O'Hagan's Karts and Supplies. They offer a great selection of karts, parts, and service. We all want to win, and O'Hagan's wants to help. O'Hagan's Karts and Supplies, Lebanon, Oregon.
Wow.